The ground shook without warning. Sergeant Ray Carter had been walking through the snow-covered forest, his rifle tight in his hands. It was supposed to be a peaceful patrol. The war had ended months ago, or so the humans thought. Then the sky turned red. A huge blast echoed across the mountains, and black smoke rose from the nearby base. Ray ran back, heart pounding. His breath turned to fog in the freezing air. "Command, this is Carter. We've got incoming fire. Repeat, unknown attackers." There was no answer. Just static. As he reached the edge of the forest, he saw its ships. In the sky, not human. They were shaped like spinning rings, glowing with blue energy. Alien symbols flashed along their sides. Ray whispered, "We're under attack again." Explosions rocked the ground. Fighters screamed through the air. The sky was on fire. Ray dropped to the snow, heart racing. But just then, a strange movement caught his eye. Something stumbling through the falling ash. Not human, but not fully alien either. A girl. She had strange markings on her cheeks. Her skin was pale lavender, her long dark hair tangled and wet from snow. She was barefoot, dressed in thin rags not made for this world. Her knees gave out as she fell into the snow. Ray rushed toward her. His training screamed, "Stop! This could be a trap," but her body was shaking, and her eyes were wide with fear. She wasn't a soldier. She looked lost, broken. He knelt beside her. Hey, are you okay? Can you hear me?" She didn't respond. Just trembled harder. Ray removed his jacket without thinking. It was warm, military grade, thick enough to survive even this harsh cold. He wrapped it around her gently. She flinched at first, then stopped shaking. Her violet eyes met his for the first time, and then tears. She tried to hold them in, but they spilled down her cheeks, freezing before they hit the ground. She held the jacket tightly, as if it was a shield. Or maybe a hug she hadn't received. "In years, who did this to you?" Ray asked softly. She didn't answer. But she didn't look away either. Behind them, the sky roared again. Another attack. Another ship fell burning from the clouds. Ray stood up. "Come on, we need to move." He didn't know who she was. He didn't know if she was friend or foe. But something inside him refused to leave her behind. As he helped her to her feet, she leaned against him. She could barely walk. Her body was ice cold. But her eyes never left his. And in that single look, Ray felt something strange, something ancient. Like she wasn't just a victim of this new war. She was part of it. Ray guided the girl through the burning trees and falling snow, his arm tight around her shoulder. She was weak, too weak to walk on her own. Her body leaned against his as if she had no strength left. Every step felt heavier with each passing second. "Hang in there," Ray whispered. "We'll find shelter." They reached a small emergency outpost hidden inside a rocky hill. Ray opened the steel hatch and pulled her inside. The air inside was warmer, safe, at least for now. He laid her on a bench and checked her temperature with his wrist scanner. Body temp? Way too low. She's freezing. She looked at him silently. Her violet eyes were wide, filled with both fear and confusion. He wondered if she even understood him. Ray gently took off his gloves and reached for her hands. They were ice cold, trembling. He rubbed them carefully, trying to bring back warmth. She didn't pull away, but she didn't speak either. "Can you understand me?" he asked. She blinked once, slowly, then nodded. Ray sat back, relieved. "Okay, good. You're safe here. At least for now." She opened her mouth but spoke in a language he couldn't understand. Her voice was soft, like wind through glass, and full of emotion. Her face looked like she was begging for help, for mercy, or maybe just for answers. Ray leaned closer. I don't understand. I'm sorry." Then she did something strange. She reached into a small pouch around her neck. Her fingers trembled, but she pulled out a small glowing shard of crystal, warm and pulsing. She placed it near her temple, then pressed it to his forehead. Ray flinched. The crystal glowed brighter. Then suddenly he could hear her thoughts, like whispers directly inside his mind. "I don't want to die." He stepped back in shock. "You can speak through this?" he asked. "Not speak. Feel." Ray stared at her, stunned. "What are you?" She looked down. Her voice in his head grew softer. "A failed project. A hybrid. Escaped from them." "From who?" Ray asked, still trying to process. She slowly raised her hand and pointed. "To the sky. The alien warships." Ray felt a chill, not from the cold, but from something deeper. "They created you? Used me?" Her voice grew heavier, full of pain. "They wanted to test how close they could come to making something human without a soul." Ray swallowed hard. "And you ran?" She nodded. Ray leaned back, trying to piece everything together. "You're part of them." "But not really. You were made to look human, maybe even feel human. That's why they were chasing you." The girl looked away, ashamed, but her voice still whispered inside his mind. "I didn't mean to bring death. I didn't mean to start war. I just wanted to be free." Ray felt his chest tighten. She wasn't just a victim, she was the reason the ships had returned. The war hadn't started because of land or resources. It had started because one fragile girl escaped. "They're going to keep coming, aren't they?" he asked. She didn't reply. Ray stood and walked to the control panel. He had to make a decision, call command and report her, or protect her and risk everything. Her soft voice echoed in his mind again. "If you send me back, they'll kill me, or worse." Ray looked back at her. She sat quietly, wrapped in his jacket, trembling, but not from cold this time. From fear. He walked back to her and knelt down. "I don't know what you are, or what you've been through, but I do know one thing." She looked at him, eyes glistening. "You're not just a project. You're a person. I see you. And I'm not turning you in." Tears filled her eyes again. She reached forward slowly and placed her hand over his chest, over his heart. "Then I'll protect you too." Outside, the sound of approaching engines echoed through the mountains. They had been found. Ray grabbed his weapon, then looked back at the girl. "Get ready. We're not done yet." The peaceful silence inside the outpost was gone. Ray stood by the metal door, weapon raised. The sound of distant engines was growing louder. Not human aircraft, alien. Slow, heavy, searching. The girl, still wrapped in his jacket, stood behind him, her small frame glowing faintly. Her violet eyes never blinked. She could feel them too. "They are close," her voice whispered in Ray's mind. "They smell me. I left a trail." Ray swore under his breath. "We need to move. This place won't hold." He grabbed the small emergency backpack and handed her a pair of old military boots. "Here, you can't walk barefoot anymore. Too dangerous." She looked at them like they were strange alien tools, but obeyed. Her feet slipped inside, too small for the boots, but it was better than nothing. Ray opened a hatch at the back of the shelter. It led to an old tunnel, dark and narrow, but it ran far underground. "Stay close," he said. They entered the tunnel. The light behind them vanished as the hatch closed. Only Ray's small flashlight lit the path ahead. The walls dripped with moisture, and every step echoed. The girl stumbled once, but Ray caught her. She whispered, "Why are you helping me?" Ray didn't answer at first. Then he sighed. "Because you looked like you had no one else. And because if I was in your place, I'd hope someone would help me too." They walked for what felt like hours. Above them, muffled thuds echoed. Search patrols landing, scanning. The enemy was hunting. Suddenly the girl froze. Her eyes went wide and her body began to glow brighter. "They are near," Too near. Ray looked back. Behind us? She shook her head. No, ahead. Ray lifted his weapon, flashlight scanning forward. Then he saw a black drone, crawling like a spider across the tunnel ceiling. It clicked and beeped, then aimed a weapon. Down! Ray yelled. A red beam shot forward but missed. Ray fired back short bursts, precise. The drone fell with a crash. Sparks flew everywhere. They ran. The girl's breathing grew faster. She was afraid, but not just for herself. Ray could feel. It threw the mental link. They will hurt you if they catch me. They will tear you apart. Ray growled, then we make sure they don't catch us. They reached a ladder and climbed fast. At the top was another hatch, this one covered in vines and dirt. Ray kicked it open. Daylight. They emerged into a hidden valley, thick trees, snow-covered rocks, and a frozen stream. They were far from the enemy landing zones. Ray dropped to one knee, catching his breath. The girl fell beside him, exhausted but safe. For now. Ray pulled out a ration bar and broke it in two. Here, not much, but it'll help. She bit it slowly, chewing like she had never tasted food before. Then she looked at him again. Why do humans care about strangers? Ray gave a small smile. Not all of us do, but some of us. Some of us believe everyone deserves a chance. The girl lowered her eyes. My creators never gave me a chance. I was a test, a weapon, a puppet. He shook his head. Not anymore. Suddenly, she leaned forward and placed her hand on his chest again. A new glow passed between them. Ray saw flashes, images from her memory. Cold labs, needles, screams, alien scientists poking, testing, then running, escaping, hiding. And now, him. Ray pulled her hand away gently. You're safe now, I promise. She blinked, then nodded. But even as she smiled faintly, the snow around them shifted. Ray heard it too late. A large alien hunter, cloaked in armor, burst from the trees with a roar. Its weapon charged, eyes locked on the girl. Ray pushed her behind him. The hunter growled, return the project or die. Ray raised his rifle. She's not a project, she's a person. And you'll go through me first, the hunter smiled. Gladly. Ray's grip on the rifle tightened. Snow blew around them as the alien hunter stepped forward. He was tall, armored, and built like a beast. Strange symbols glowed on his chest, and his four-fingered hands gripped a plasma weapon ready to fire. Behind Ray, the girl whispered, he's one of the first. A prime hunter. No mercy. Ray didn't move. You're not taking her. The hunter laughed, a deep, cold sound. You don't even understand what she is. That creature behind you is not yours to protect. Ray fired. One clean shot to the head. But the bullet bounced off the hunter's helmet like a pebble on stone. Ray cursed and rolled sideways as the plasma weapon fired, melting a tree into burning ash where he'd just been. He hit the snow hard, turned, and shot again. This time aiming at the weapon. Direct hit. The plasma gun exploded in the hunter's hand, making him roar in pain. Ray stood fast, heart pounding. His breath steamed in the air. The girl didn't run. She stood behind a tree, her hands glowing. Softly, eyes locked on the fight. The hunter growled and charged barehanded. Ray didn't have time to think. He raised his rifle, but the hunter slapped it aside. Ray was thrown backwards, crashing into a snowbank. The wind was knocked out of him. The hunter stepped over him. Pathetic human, he spat. You should have walked away. Suddenly, a flash of violet light hit the hunter from the side. He stumbled, screaming. The girl had raised her hand, her palm glowing with the same strange energy from the crystal. Ray saw his chance. He grabbed a short blade from his belt and lunged upward, jamming it between the hunter's armor plates at the neck. The blade sank deep. The hunter roared in shock. You! Ray twisted, and the hunter fell. The snow went silent again. Ray dropped to his knees, breathing hard. He's down. The girl ran to him, kneeling beside him. Her hands hovered over his chest. You're bleeding, she said, not just with her mind, but with her voice. Soft. Broken. Beautiful. Ray looked down. His arm was cut deep. I'll live, he muttered. The girl placed her hands over the wound. A soft light spread from her fingers, warm like sunshine in winter. The pain faded. He looked at her, stunned. You can heal? She nodded slowly. I wasn't just made to fight. I was made to fix what war breaks. Ray was speechless. She wiped the blood from his sleeve and looked into his eyes. Why did you risk your life for me? Ray shrugged. Because someone needs to. I won't let monsters win. She stared at him, then did something unexpected. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead gently against his. Then I will fight for you too. A new connection passed between them, deeper than thought. Her memories flowed stronger this time. More images. Her first breath in the lab. Her first taste of freedom. Her terror. Her loneliness. And now, this strange human who gave her his jacket. And his protection. Then the vision changed. Ray saw something else. A memory she didn't mean to show him. A hidden lab. A room filled with more pods. Others like her, half-grown, sleeping, frozen, waiting. Ray pulled back, eyes wide. There. Are more of you? She looked away. Yes. Ray stood slowly. Then they'll keep coming, to get them back. She nodded. Unless we get there first. Ray looked toward the horizon. The smoke was gone now, but the war wasn't over. It had only changed. He offered her his hand. Then let's go save them. She took it. And for the first time in her life, she smiled. Ray and the girl moved through the snow-covered forest in silence. The trees whispered around them. The sun was fading behind gray clouds. The girl's footsteps were light, almost soundless, and Ray kept his rifle ready. Every shadow looked like a threat now. We're getting close, she said in her soft voice. The lab is hidden underground. Old? Cold. Ray looked over at her. Is it guarded? She nodded. Not many. I don't expect anyone to come back. They think I would never return. Ray raised an eyebrow. They don't know you have help now. She gave a small smile, though her eyes were full of worry. They think the others are just frozen bodies. But they're alive, sleeping, like cryopods? Ray asked. Yes. If we wake them, they will be confused, frightened, like I was. Ray looked ahead. Then we wake them together, slowly, safely. After another hour of walking, they reached a strange metal door, half buried in a cliffside, covered by dead vines and frost. The girl placed her hand on a hidden panel. A faint hum answered. Then, with a hiss, the door opened. The hallway. Inside was dark and smelled of chemicals. Ray clicked on his flashlight. The walls were smooth and silver. Lights flickered above, some dead. The air was heavy, like the place hadn't been touched in years. This place gives me the creeps, Ray muttered. It gave me nightmares, she whispered. They moved through the halls, past empty rooms and sealed doors. Then they reached a large chamber. Inside were tall glass pods, each glowing faintly. Inside each pod floated a figure, pale skin, dark hair. Strange markings. All girls. All like her. Ray counted. 10, maybe more. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the main console. The screen lit up in her strange language. Ray asked, Can you wake them? She hesitated. Yes, but it will take time. And once they wake, they might be scared. Then we wake one at a time, Ray said. And we explain, gently. She nodded. The first pod opened with a hiss. A young girl collapsed forward into her arms. She was smaller, thinner, her eyes wide with fear. She trembled, confused. Ray knelt down and offered her his jacket, just like before. The girl looked at him, then at the hybrid who held her. The connection passed between them. Recognition, safety. She's okay, the older girl whispered. The second pod opened. Then the third. Soon 5 girls sat together in a corner, wrapped in blankets and soft lights. They looked tired, but alive. Suddenly, a red light flashed on the console. Ray stood up. What is it? The girl's voice shook. They know. A signal was triggered. Someone is coming, Ray swore. How long? She checked the screen. 20 minutes, maybe less. Ray looked at the group of frightened girls. Then we can't wake the rest. We have to leave now. She nodded. Ray handed her his old radio. You lead them out. I'll cover the rear. She looked at him. You'll come, right? Ray smiled. I'm not leaving you, I promise. They moved fast, but the enemy was faster. As they reached the upper corridor, a blast rocked the ceiling. Dust fell. Lights flickered. 3 alien guards stormed in gray armor, red eyes. Weapons drawn. Ray pushed the girls behind him and fired. The hallway turned to chaos. Blaster fire lit up the walls. Ray hit one soldier in the leg, making him fall. The other. Too advanced. Then the hybrid girl raised her hands again. Light burst from her palms. The walls shook. The air rippled with force. The guards screamed, dropped their weapons, and fell unconscious. Ray stared at her. That was new. She looked at her hands, shaking. It's growing stronger. I don't know why. Ray said, We'll figure it out later. Let's go. They burst out of the lab into the snowy night. The sky above was full of dark clouds. In the distance, alien ships began to descend. Ray turned to her. This isn't over, she nodded. No, it's just the beginning. Asterisk snow fell harder now. Ray led the group of hybrid girls through the woods, his boots sinking in fresh white powder. The sky above was dark, filled with clouds and faint lights from the approaching alien ships. Every few seconds he turned to check on them. Most were quiet, cold, tired, but alive. The girl who had first received his jacket walked beside him. She no longer looked fragile. Her steps were stronger, her eyes sharper. She stayed close to the other girls, guiding them, protecting them. They'll keep coming, Ray said. This doesn't end just because we got them out. She nodded. They think we're tools, and now their tools have escaped. Ray looked at her. We're not going to let them take you back. One of the younger hybrids stumbled. She was crying. Her skin glowed slightly, like a soft blue light under her skin. Her powers were unstable. I can feel them, she whispered. In my head. They're calling, trying to pull me back. Ray knelt beside her. Ignore them. You're free now. They can't control you anymore. The girl who wore his jacket placed her hand on the crying one's shoulder. Her voice entered Ray's mind. Again, our connection was once a chain. But now we use it to protect each other. Suddenly the air shifted. The group stopped. Ray raised his rifle. What is it? She turned slowly. Her eyes narrowed. They've sent a beacon ahead. Something burning, Ray sniffed. He could smell it too. Smoke. They followed it cautiously and soon found the source. A human village. Or what was left of it. Buildings had been blasted apart. Fires burned in broken homes. Frozen bodies lay still in the snow. Ray stepped forward, heart heavy. They came through here. The girl nodded. They were searching for us. Ray clenched his fists. They're punishing humans just for helping you. She looked away. I didn't mean to bring this much pain. Ray shook his head. You didn't. They did. You just escaped. Suddenly, a scream echoed from a burning house. Ray ran toward it without thinking. Inside, through thick smoke and falling beams, a small child was trapped beneath rubble. A young human boy, crying. Alone. Ray tried to lift the beam, but it was too heavy. He shouted over his shoulder, "Help me!" The hybrid girl rushed in beside him. Her hands lit up with glowing energy. She placed them on the beam. It started to vibrate, then lift. Ray pulled the child free and rushed outside. The boy coughed, then looked up at Ray, eyes wide with fear. You're not like them?" Ray smiled softly. "No, we're here to help." The hybrid girls surrounded the child, their glowing skin casting soft light in the dark snow. The boy looked at them, confused but not afraid. Ray looked at the girl. "You saved him." She shook her head. "We all did." But then something inside her cracked. She staggered back suddenly, grabbing her chest. Her body lit up with sharp, flashing energy. Ray caught her. "What's wrong?" Her voice trembled. "They're trying to force the link again. They're trying to shut me down." The other girls gasped. One of them dropped to her knees. "They're doing it to all of us," one cried. "We can't fight it." Ray gritted his teeth. "Yes, you can. Fight it together. You're not alone now." He reached out and took the girl's hand. The warmth of his touch sparked something inside her. Her glow turned steadier, brighter, fiercer. "You're my anchor," she said. "Your mind is strong. It protects me from theirs." The other girls linked hands. The pulsing pain in their heads faded slowly. They had done a dash together. Ray looked at her. "Your connection to each other is powerful. But your connection to something human, it's stronger." She smiled faintly. "That's because you believe in us. No one ever did before." Above them, the enemy ship circled, but didn't land yet. "They're scared," Ray said. She nodded. "They should be." He looked around at the hybrid girls, strong, alive, and finally free. "They made a mistake," Ray said, raising his rifle again. "They made you with feelings, memories, and hearts. They thought that made you weak." She stepped beside him. "But it makes us unstoppable." Asterisk, the clouds broke open with thunder. Alien ships hovered above the valley now, casting wide shadows across the snow. Lights blinked underneath the vessels. Ray and the hybrid girl stood below, watching the sky in silence. The girl still wore his jacket. It looked too big on her, but somehow right. She stood at Ray's side, calm but fierce. "They're coming in full force," Ray said. "They won't stop this time," she nodded slowly. "Then neither will we." The other girls gathered behind them, forming a line. They looked scared, but no longer helpless. Their glowing eyes, once dim and uncertain, now burned with purpose. Deep voice echoed from the ships above. "Return the stolen assets or be erased." Ray stepped forward, rifle in hand. "They're not assets," he shouted into the sky. "They're people. And they choose to be free." No answer came. Then the first drop pods fell fast and loud. The ground shook as they landed, doors bursting open. Dozens of armored alien soldiers stepped out, weapons raised. Ray turned to the girls. "No more running." The lead girl whispered to the others, "Remember what he taught us. We're not tools, not toys. We feel, we protect, we love." Then light. The girls raised their hands together, forming a glowing wall of energy between them and the enemy. The first shots fired hit the shield and sizzled out. Ray took cover beside a rock, returning fire. "That's it, hold them." One of the hybrids cried out as her arm glowed brighter. "I can feel all of you, like our minds are one." They pushed forward. Not with rage, but with unity. Ray fought beside them, watching as they moved in sync, no longer broken or afraid. Their powers combined in waves, shielding, healing, disabling weapons, and knocking enemies backward with pure mental force. The aliens began to fall back, confused, overwhelmed. They hadn't expected resistance, not from the ones they built. But Ray saw the truth. These girls were no longer experiments. They were a family. The battle reached its peak when the largest enemy dropped from the sky, a prime hunter, larger than the last. His armor was silver, his voice cold. "You are still ours." The lead girl stepped forward, unafraid. "Not anymore." He fired a massive pulse blast toward her. Ray dove forward, pushing her out of the way, and took the hit himself. He crashed into the snow. Smoke rose from his chest armor. Blood soaked through the side. The girl screamed. She dropped to her knees beside him. "Ray, stay with me." He opened one eye. "Told you I wasn't leaving you." She pressed her hand to his wound, glowing with healing light. Tears streamed down her face, hot against the cold wind. "Don't die. You're our anchor. You're mine." The other girls surrounded them. Together, they raised their hands toward the prime hunter. The sky turned white. A single pulse of pure light shot upward, powered by their connection to each other and, to the human who believed in them. The hunter was lifted off the ground, his armor cracking, then shattered into nothingness. Silence followed. The alien ships paused, and then turned away. One by one, they retreated. The warships faded into the clouds. The battle was over. Ray blinked up at the sky. "Did we win?" The girl smiled through tears. "We did." Later, they built a new camp in the valley, safe, hidden. Ray recovered slowly. The hybrids kept him warm, fed him, protected him. And he protected them. The younger ones began to laugh, to play, to dream. And one night, as the fire crackled, the girl sat beside Ray, still wrapped in the jacket he gave her. She looked at him and asked, "Why did your kindness reach me?" "When nothing else could," he smiled. "Because kindness is something real. No lab can make it. No wires can control it." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "We were made to destroy," she whispered, "but you gave us a reason to live." Ray looked at the stars. "You're not weapons anymore," he said. "You're hope." And in that quiet, snowy valley, a new family was born. Not of blood, but of trust. Of warmth. And of one human's jacket, given in the cold.